Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now to the second terror attack in Germany in just a few days. This time a Syrian man who blew himself up and injured 15 others outside a music festival. Officials said video found on his phone showed him pledging allegiance to the militant Islamic State group and threatening revenge. The attack happened in the Bavarian town of Ansbach, where the 27-year-old asylum seeker exploded a backpack bomb after he'd been turned away from the event. Well, let's go live now to Fatima Manji, who's in Ansbach. Fatima.
Well, Kathy, just to my left is the exact scene where those shocking events unfolded last night. You can in fact still see blood on the pavement where that as yet officially unnamed 27-year-old Syrian man blew himself up, injuring 12 others alongside, 15 others alongside with him. Now, what do we know about him? Police had come across him because he had a minor drug offence and because he had attempted to take his own life twice. But this afternoon, evidence emerged that he had pledged allegiance to the leader of ISIS. After that was announced, ISIS themselves online claimed that this man had been carrying out a martyrdom operation as a soldier of the Islamic State. Now, just a warning, my report does contain flash photography from the very start. The familiar sound of emergency vehicles. Once again, a German city is on high alert after a violent attack. The fourth in what Bavaria's interior minister called the country's days of terror. Last night, a Syrian man blew himself up outside a wine bar, just yards away from a music festival where he was refused entry. 15 people were injured, 4 are in a serious condition. The Bavarian Interior Ministry say a video in Arabic was on the bomber's phone, showing him pledging allegiance to the leader of the so-called Islamic State group. In it, the bomber announced a revenge attack against Germany.
I think this video shows unquestionably that the attack was a terror attack with an Islamist background, that the perpetrator had Islamist convictions.
Police say he had a bomb in his backpack, with many metal parts that could have killed and injured many more people. Had he been allowed into the crowded event, this could have been worse.
Suddenly there was an extremely loud bang, more like a loud rattle, definitely the sound of an explosion. I was shaken. I didn't know what it was. I went back, away from there.
We were sitting on the steps when we heard the explosion and we started running in this direction. I saw a man on the floor, his head, there was blood, and they tried to push me away and I pushed through and tried to get back into the concert and they let me in when I said my little sister was still in there.
The man tried to enter the festival grounds of the Ansbach Open Concert, but he was turned back because he had no ticket. At around 10:10, he then detonated the explosives in his rucksack outside Eugene's wine bar. The bomber lived at this shelter with other migrants and refugees. Officials say his application for asylum in Germany had been rejected because he was a registered refugee in Bulgaria and he was due to be deported there. This morning, police were removing belongings and found material that could have been used to make a bomb. A housemate says the attacker claimed to hate ISIS, but liked to seek attention.
He always said that, no, I'm not with them, I don't like them, and such stuff. But I think he had some issues because, he told lies so often without any reason, and I understand that he wants to be in the center of attraction.
The incident comes at the end of a violent week in Germany. On Friday, a German teenager of Iranian descent shot dead 9 people at a shopping centre in Munich. The shooter had a history of mental illness and may have been inspired by the far right. On Sunday, a 21-year-old Syrian man wielding a machete killed a woman in what police believe was a domestic dispute. All this after an attack in which a 17-year-old asylum seeker, armed with an axe, injured 5 people on a train in Bavaria. He was shot dead after the attack, which was claimed by the Islamic State group. The fact that this bomber was an asylum seeker will fuel further debate about Germany's open-door refugee policy. The country's interior minister defended Angela Merkel's approach, pointing out none of the attackers had been from the group of refugees who arrived last autumn, after Merkel's declaration that Germany's doors were open to those in need. But his words will do little to silence those calling for tighter controls over refugees arriving in Germany. Well, joining me now is a local resident and eyewitness to last night's events, Ralph Millsap. Ralph, you were sitting just over there. The attack took place here. Tell me what you saw.
We saw a young man come in with a rucksack on his back and sit down at one of the longer tables, and he did not take the rucksack off, which is kind of unusual. After about 10 minutes, he got up and left. I think he might have been trying to get into the fest itself. 10 or 20 minutes later, he came back in, sat down at the small table, by the red car.
Yeah.
Maybe another 20 minutes go by. I'm talking to my friends. Explosion, concussion. I get hit by a piece of wood. He's laying on the ground, face down. Table's gone, chair's gone,
And obviously people were injured. Just describe the scene just after that.
A lot of people were injured. A lot of people had lacerations to the side of their face and neck and all that. But I do believe that it was not the bomb. It was the trigger to the bomb. Had the actual bomb exploded, the devastation would have been much more. The glass, all the glass would be gone. The umbrellas knocked down, tables knocked down. I think he did not construct the bomb properly.
Now, you live here. What sort of impact is this going to have on the town and people's activities here?
The Germans are a little, what can I say, freaked out. I mean, they're not used to this at all. I spent 20 years in the Army. As soon as it happened, I knew exactly what was going on. I knew exactly what happened. But they're a little upset. They're a little upset. I think the Polizei will be more surveillance, more presence in town. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much,
yes,
Ralph. Thanks for joining
yes.
us. Well, as you heard, this is certainly going to add to the sense of nervousness here in Germany, and certainly will play into the politics of whether or not Angela Merkel should accept more refugees and encourage the open-door policy here in Germany. Back to you in the studio.
Fatima Manji in Ansbach in Bavaria, joining us via the internet from the Isle of Sylt in northern Germany is the German MEP Michael Gachler. He represents the Christian Democrat Party, the same party as Chancellor Merkel. And tonight, Mr. Gachler, there are opposition politicians criticising Mrs. Merkel for allowing Syrian refugees in and blaming that in part on what happened. Are you also blaming her?
I'm not blaming her. First of all, those two Syrians who committed these crimes, they arrived here long before the current influx started in September last year. So they have got nothing to do with this very concrete start of a new policy that we have seen. But still, it is necessary, of course, to assess what happened. As I said, 2 of the 3 events in Bavaria had this Islamist, this IS background, the third one not. And I think one of the lessons is to increase awareness amongst the population. I think this resilience needs to be created, and best, if I would say so, if they can trust the police. And what we've seen especially in Munich in this big event, the capacity and to mobilize within short time 2,300 police from different regions and to really get the situation under control. I think that gives and adds to resilience in the general public in order to resist such challenges.
Well, our correspondent there, Fatima Manji, did describe considerable nervousness now, particularly in Ansbach, in Bavaria, and one wonders whether there is a real danger that, as well as the kind of security that you're suggesting, there is a danger that people will begin to turn on their new neighbours, their new Syrian refugees coming into the country.
Well, I think it is about addressing these concerns, as I said, and I think it is also clear that any responsible politician will refuse any attempts from some populists to generalize. And but it is about integrating those who can stay. It is about sharing information throughout Europe about networks. That is important.
Can I just ask you one quick final question? Are you worried now about the upcoming election? Do you think that your party is in danger?
I don't think that we are in danger. It's more than a year to go, and it is about credibility and giving a clear answer that for complex problems, there are never simple solutions.
Michael Gahler, MEP, talking to us from northern Germany. Thank you very much for talking with us.
I've been getting away with it all.